Michigan Magazine is kept on the road by our many Michigan friends. Thunder Bay Resort, a destination for all seasons with special events and packages. Thunder Bay Resort in Hillman. Hale Hardware, your do-it center in Hale, Michigan. Much more than a regular hardware store, providing everything you need for whatever your project is, along with a knowledgeable sales staff to get her done. Serving Northern Michigan since 1946. Hale Hardware, south of M65 at Ainsley in Hale. Luzerne Express Campground is the premier campground with everything to make your northern adventure complete. Modern and rustic campsites, equestrian campers welcome, a huge market with bakery and deli. Nearby RV, hiking, and horse trails, along with a complete canoe, raft, and kayak rental. Visit us online, then call for more information and reserve your spot today. It's been a while since we told you the story of Cops and Doughnuts in Clare, how the idea was hatched to save the historic City Bakery by a group of city police officers who had really no idea about the phenomenon they were about to create. Stick around, that inspiring story is about to be told again. But first, the spirit of Michigan and its artists also have amazing stories to tell. Today, we learn about Camilla Tate's Lampwork artistry. What is Lampwork? Well, you're about to find out on this edition of Michigan Magazine. Experience the beauty, artistry, and taste of Northern Michigan. Come to Amish Country Natural Products on Mount Tom Road, north of Mile, just off M33. From arts and crafts to fresh foods and vegetables, all natural, all local, all good. Stop by and get acquainted with Amish Country Natural Products, 1454 North Mount Tom Road, Mile. The Michigan-made rebounding mailbox pole. Never again worry about the winter snowplow taking out your mailbox with this ingenious rebounding pole. Your mailbox takes a hit and keeps coming back year after year. Call now or visit their website, toughmailboxes.com. First, you take a heaping helping of patience. Add some molten glass, more patience, then add a generous amount of creativity and imagination. A touch more patience steeped with ingenuity, along with patience, practice, and perseverance, and more patience. This is the basic recipe for glass bead making, a beautiful art that stretches the imagination along with hot glass to new dimensions. Michigan Magazine's recent journeys through the Grand Rapids area led us to master bead maker Camilla Tate. Camilla crafts wonderful works of artistic beadery in her home studio, located just north of Grand Rapids in a rural section of Rockford, Michigan. Here we visited with Camilla to learn more about her love of beadery. As pet cat Ruby snoozed nearby in the tranquility of the peace and quiet that surrounded us, a perfect setting for any artist, Camilla displayed some of her favorite accomplishments. Bead making is kind of an ancient art, isn't it, Camilla?
It is ancient, hundreds of years old actually, and has just been going through a revival period. The proper term for it is Lampwork bead making.
I see. And now you start actually from scratch in bead making, from creating kind of a liquid glass. Tell us about the process of bead making.
What you do is I work with glass rods, and I cut them down to about the size of a straw, and they're about that big around. A lot of the glass still comes from Italy, where a lot of color processes have still been kept sort of secret in Venice, where a lot of those things were developed.
Venetian glass?
Venetian glass. And you melt the glass over an oxygen propane torch is what I have, and you wind it onto a prepared piece of stainless steel, prepared with some clay sort of mixture so it doesn't adhere to the metal. And wind that on, and then decorate and embellish it. Beads tell the history of the world. Beads tell all about how people have developed technologically, and there's always been a need for people to decorate themselves, so to speak. And even in ancient cultures, you know, starting off with shells, all the way up to the kind of things we have today. People want to give valuable things that are beautiful, I guess, or have them on themselves. I've always been interested in beads since the 60s, let's say, and sort of been a bead collector. And we even lived in the Middle East for a while, and my bead collecting sort of went berserk because I knew I wasn't going to be there very long. And I started buying more beads, and then you have to put those together. And then when I found out that you could make beads, well, that was it. I was captured immediately. I had to learn this.
And there are many who are interested and actively organizing bead shows, isn't there?
Bead shows, the Glass Bead Makers Society. There's many bead makers in Michigan. I don't think that they're a big organized group in Michigan so far. But there's a few of us around. Some of these are
look at that.
Beads I didn't think other people would like, and that's why I kept them myself. Surprisingly, everybody wants these. All these little decoration aspects are all things you make up beforehand.
Watch an artist like Camilla at work is quite inspiring. The ease at which she accomplishes her goal comes through hours of dedication and the love of the craft. Camilla was kind enough to give me my first lesson in the art of beadery, and it was soon apparent just how dedicated she must be to get the results she does.
Okay, now what you need to do is pass this through the flame. The hottest part of the flame is kind of like right here.
Okay.
You can see how that's a little hard on the arms after a whole evening.
Yeah. Do I turn it at all? Or just
you can actually just passing it through now to warm it.
I see, okay.
And when we start to see it bright yellow like that, we're pretty much ready. And then you revolve it, kind of like roll it in your fingers like that.
After that, you just kind of...
Yeah, and you can hold it right in the flame right now.
Okay.
And just twirl it a little bit. And what you want it to do is to get a little gather going, as they call it.
Yeah.
And it's a little ball, a little bit bigger than that.
Oh, yeah.
Till it's just about dripping.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Am I in the flame? A little bit bigger. Yeah, you're pretty much. Okay. But actually, there is something to knowing where the flame is, because a lot of times in the middle of making a large bead, you kind of have to hold it. If you hold it out of the flame too long, it will crack right off So you have to know where is behind the flame, in front of.
Right.
All right, you could get that a little bit bigger, but now with your left hand, a lot of ambidextrous movement needed here.
Yeah.
Now first warm this till it glows a little bit.
Two things at once.
Yeah, and warm it in the right in the middle there where you're going to put it.
Okay.
Turn that, twirl that a little bit, your mandrel.
Oh, okay, right.
Okay, all right. Now, touch the glass to the mandrel and twirl the mandrel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. Are you an artist?
No.
Okay, now you'll see it starts to get stiff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, burn off the little skinny part there.
There, like that?
Yeah, and you can, if you want the bead bigger, you can continue to melt more glass.
Melt more glass.
But you got to remember to keep this warm.
Okay.
That's where you find out where that little space is.
Yeah, boy, it can be kind of complicated. My bead ended up nothing like Camilla's, but we enjoyed the experience. We'd like to thank bead artist Camilla Tate of Rockford for perpetuating the art of beadery in Michigan and sharing her talent with us at Michigan Magazine. Michigan Magazine is being brought to you in part by Something Special's cooking hot and delicious. Indulge yourself at Morning at Maggie's in Bay City. Omelets, frittatas, hotcakes, and more. Make every day special with a stop at Morning at Maggie's for breakfast or lunch on Saginaw in Bay City. Rose Valley Winery on Beechwood Road in Rose City. See what thousands are raving about, creating a delicious variety of award-winning Michigan wines. Stop by and taste for yourself. The taste of Michigan is yours at Rose Valley Winery. Hinchman Acres Canoe Livery and Resort on M33 just north of Mayo, catering to the outdoor enthusiasts. Cabins, canoes, kayaks, rafts, and more. Daytime or overnight trips along the world-famous Asabo River. A family getaway for over 75 years. You may have seen them before. They've been featured on Fox News, MSNBC, Good Morning America, and The Huckabee Report, plus numerous other Michigan TV and radio shows. Now, hear the story behind the story of one of Michigan's top 50 businesses to watch here on Michigan Magazine. We are on the road to Clare, Michigan, and the world-famous Cops and Doughnuts City Bakery, located smack dab in the city's historic downtown area. What a story it is. The City Bakery has been in business since the 1890s and just recently was in danger of closing for good until 9 officers of the Clare City Police Department literally arrested the closing process and purchased the business to a cheering, supportive citizenry. It's been an amazing and inspiring process relayed to us as we talked with 3 of the original 9, seated in front of a mouth-watering display of the bakery's best-selling offerings. Cops and Doughnuts, a natural combination. On this edition of Michigan Magazine, what you see here is an unusual array of pastry goodies that my goodness, I've never seen a combination like this before. We're at a unique place that makes these unique concoctions. We're at the Cops and Doughnuts City Bakery in Clare, Michigan. This bakery has been in operation pretty much since, 1896? That's right. The original bakery. We've got Greg, and Brian. Am I right? Rhino?
Yep, Rhino is what I go by. It makes it a lot easier.
Makes it a lot easier.
We've got Greg, and Brian Gregory, so too many Gregs in there. We like
I tell you what, it's an amazing thing, but you are all police officers, right?
We're full-time cops here in Clare.
What a combination, donuts and cops, and it's just something that kind of went in together and formed something that is just taking the country by storm. You're getting a lot of reaction. Who's going to tell me the story behind the story, how this all got together? This is owned and operated by 9 officers?
You know, it started, that's been more than 3 years ago now, that we heard that the local bakery here that had been here for 113 years was going to close its doors. And we had several other closed storefronts here downtown, and we obviously as police officers here in town, and you know, we all live and work and you know in this area, and didn't want to see it happen. And we had the opportunity that Rhino had heard that it was going to close, and he basically came up with the idea that, you know what a great thing it would be if we could purchase the bakery. And then he started doing the legwork on it, and I'll let him.
Your son actually came up with the name.
With the name.
We were
Cops
beating
and
some names
Doughnuts.
around it.
Well, I tell you what a combination. I mean, it only goes naturally. I mean, kidding aside, you know, this is that's pretty much a staple diet of many officers, right?
Well, we do. We take, believe it or not, we take a lot of ribbing for it, and police officers did from years ago. And I'll just tell you really quickly where that story came from. It was back in the old days when the original foot beat cop was walking downtown, and the only things open at that hour of the morning were the bakeries, because they're up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're getting things going, and that foot beat cop would be walking by. In order to keep the unrulies out, the mob, things like that, they would offer them, please come in, sit down, have a cup of coffee and a donut, because if there's 2 foot beat coppers sitting inside that bakery, then the unrulies, or whatever they called them back then, were not going to want to come in and sit down because they're there. So they encouraged it, and now unfortunately, or fortunately for us, it stuck. So that's where that's come from. So.
This is an amazing story for you guys, finding this place was going to be closed, and it was going to be no more a part of the history.
It was a foundation business here in Clare. We are the 3rd longest running business in its original location in the main bakery portion. The Clare Hardware beats us out, and Johnston's Elevator. But we're number 3. How do you let a business like that close? If you can pool your resources and save it, you got to try it. So it was a community effort. It really was. We're the face of it. We're the money behind it. But the owner worked with us great, give us a lease option. We exercised that option to buy after the first year.
I think a lot of the reason that you see what you see today is because nothing has ever been a bad idea. You know, us as a group, when we get together.
I'll disagree. We've done some bad ideas. Well, we are learning as we go.
I'm saying when we pitch ideas to each other, there's no bad ideas. We're not negative with each other.
We try it. That's
we're going to try
saying.
it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we move along. And you know, that's been a success for us. You know, it's been okay. If it breaks, it doesn't work, no problem. We'll move along. We'll try something different, and we keep going. We don't put those hurdles in front of us. Right. So you know, it's been really great. I mean, get 9 guys to sit down and agree to things and try ideas and be open and sit here like we are right now, laughing and joking about it. And the whole thing is and Rhino puts an exclamation point on it every time that he sends an email out. Have fun. Yeah. At the end of every email, still have fun. You know, and this is if, you know, I guess the thing that's different than law enforcement and what we do here is that this is positive. Everything we do is positive. Not that we don't see positive in law enforcement, but everybody's happy. It's the atmosphere is upbeat and people are happy and people come in here to have a good time and they want to see us and they want to have that contact with the police and the owners, and we're able to give that back to them. We're able to give that positiveness back to them, and it's contagious.
I tell you what, now, you guys are expert in law enforcement, but you weren't expert in the bakery business. I mean, you've come a long way. Where did you go for your input? Did you bring on people that were here already in the bakery? How did you get a team together to work together as they do in the bakery?
That's been our biggest struggle, and we're there now. There was one part-time employee, Roxanne, and she's still with us today. She was part-time. She's full-time. She takes care of breads and rolls and things like that. But since then, we've hired Sherry Kleinhardt. She's our general manager. She had background in retail, bakeries, and restaurants and such. Her husband's on board for maintenance and helping with the diner. And then recently here, we've hired Dave Wittenbach. He can do it all. And like everybody, he's an expert at many things and not of everything. But he's got the culinary degree. He's ran a bakery for 15 years. He's been in the bakery industry his entire adult life. And so now we've got that in place. And so you're going to see our product develop even more. We were donuts right in the beginning, and it was the joke of it, the Cops and Doughnuts. We had to discontinue many items with the bakery, and even today we're not a full-service bakery. We're a donut shop with cookies and breads and pies, and it's growing. Today we don't do cakes. We had to finish that discontinue those right away. Party cakes we'll get back into soon. I don't know that we'll ever do wedding cakes. That's its own little niche, and it's hard to find the people that want to do it.
Sure.
But we're growing and we're learning along the way. Our product has not always been pretty, but it's always been good, and we're getting better at it.
And now it's pretty good,
It's pretty and good.
And the thing that we find out is we need to do what we do best, and we do it. And we find those that can do the things that we can't do, that do it the best, and bring them in, and don't try and fake it. For us, we can't. We have to make sure that the product that goes out of here is a quality product.
Our pastries and our donuts and pies and all that stuff, those are definitely great things that we put out, but I think one of our greatest accomplishments is the team that we got back in that kitchen that you see today sitting back there. I mean, with Sherry and Al Kleinhardt leading the way. And
we're 30-plus employees. Yep. And one of the agreement amongst us in the beginning was no family. There's been talk at different times, and that's one thing I stood firm and said no family. And that just keeps that out of there, and that's why the 9 of us still all work together. We're going to stick to our core values in the beginning, and sometimes it's not the most popular, but we're going to stick to it, and it's good.
And everything is good at Cops and Doughnuts, from donuts, pastries, pies, and breads to a complete menu in the adjoining Traffic Stop Diner that boasts delicious pork products made fresh daily. As the word keeps traveling of this dynamic concept, new customers are discovering the slice of Americana in downtown Clare. They even have a robust and growing online mail-order business and a line of coffee that's produced here in Michigan and enjoyed throughout the nation. It's history in the making, with a firm look at the future while keeping the roots in the past. A perfect example of that is their spotlight on the heritage in souvenirs, shirts, mugs, and hats. Come to Clare, the signs and billboard beckons as far south as Florida. It's become its own tradition for many new patrons and supporters that include hundreds of fellow police officers and firemen. Check them out online at copsanddoughnuts.com, where you can even check out all the action and smiling faces with their live webcam. Cops and Doughnuts Bakery and Traffic Stop Diner in historic, beautiful downtown Clare.
Vacation. Don't make the planning of it more than what you're trying to get away from. At northernmichigancabinrentals.com, you can choose from over 2,500 cabins, cottages, lodges, resorts, lakefront vacation home rentals, and more. Whatever experience you're looking for, from rustic to luxury and everything in between. No more rustling with telephone books. No more endless internet searches. Just one site with over 2,500 Northern Michigan destinations. northernmichigancabinrentals.com.
Emerald Productions is a Michigan video company that provides its services for weddings, special events, documentaries, and more. Give us a call at 248-417-0030 and check out our website at memorproductions.com.
Once again, thanks for joining us as we travel the Michigan back roads in search of the true Michigander. Don't forget, we'll be on the road the first 2 days of firearm deer season here in Michigan, talking with hunters and getting the scoop of what's happening out there. The 15th, opening day, we'll be at the Luzerne Express Campground and Market in Luzerne. Then on the 16th, we'll be at Parkview Acres in Lupton. Be sure and stop by and register for some great Michigan prizes we'll be giving away. Be sure and watch for our live social media updates during those days and a roundup later on RFD TV in a few weeks. Speaking of prize giveaways, here's another chance to win with our phrase of the week. You can't beat a morning at Maggie's, downtown Bay City. You know what to do. Email it or snail mail it to us with your name, address, and phone number. We'll see you next week for another edition of Michigan Magazine. We'd like to thank all those that help keep Michigan Magazine on the road. Thunder Bay Resort, a destination for all seasons with special events and packages. Thunder Bay Resort in Hillman. For home, medical, and healthcare products, visit Rose City Drug at 2640 North M33, just south of Rose City city limits. Rose City Drug has a complete diabetic department, including shoes. Serving Michigan for over 20 years. Rose City Drug, Rose City. Clemix Sales and Service on Mapes Road, west of Mile, your complete recreational vehicle sales and service connection. Visit their beautiful showroom of new and pre-owned ATVs, lawnmowers, power equipment, snowmobiles, utility vehicles, and more. Clemix Sales and Service is also the home of the American-made Victory motorcycle line on display at Clemix on Mapes Road, Mayo. Your northern experience is never complete without a stop at the historic Ma Dealers of Luzerne. Enjoy the ambiance inside or outside on the huge patio area. Order from the complete menu with entrees served hot, fresh, and good. Come experience Ma Dealers in the heart of God's country, Luzerne, Michigan.